Welcome back to Prism Radio. Today is January 20th, 2022. Seems like it's been a long week since the last show, and it always seems to sneak up on me every time it gets to Thursday when I do my recording or my live show. It always seems to be catching me by surprise, and I'm never fully prepared, and I have to throw something together real quick. Oh well, that's how I do it. That's how I've been doing it for years, so I guess that's just my format. That's how I feel comfortable. Makes it stay fresh. I think if I plan it out, maybe it feels a bit too manufactured, and I want it to stay more, I want to keep myself on my own toes. For no reason. Oh well. We'll make it through together. We got a good lineup planned today. Got a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of new stuff, a lot of stuff I've been wanting to show you guys for a long time, but just didn't want to overcrowd with certain genres or certain vibes or styles. So it's like I don't want to throw too much similar stuff into one show and kind of overwhelm you. So I have to space it out. Unfortunately for me, that means that I have to wait a couple weeks before I can show you a lot of songs that I really love. And maybe one day in the future I'll do maybe my top 10 songs of all time and count them down and really nerd out about them. That's not going to be today. And I've already shown you several of my favorite songs of all time on previous shows, so chances are by the time we actually do a top 10, you'll have heard all of them at least once. But that way I can kind of explain it a little deeper and show why they're my favorite songs, and maybe that'll be a longer show. Maybe that'll be a 2-hour show. I do that. Anyways, today we're going to start off, and I don't have a Russian band for you today, unfortunately. I tried, and I could not find one real quick, so like I said, this was kind of slapdash. They always are. But I think we can go a week without a Russian song in the first 3 songs. We are going to start off with a very wonderful, soulful song that I really like. It's Eureka with Kyomen no Nami.
「
and that was Plan by Assemble Head and Sunburst Sound. A very wonderful band from San Francisco that got started in the early 2000s and released 4 albums since they started making music. Their last album was in 2012, so it's been a decade without a new album from them, which is unfortunate because they're really good psychedelic rock, kind of like a louder Led Zeppelin, which, not that I listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin, but that's the vibe that it gives me. And the other thing that's kind of weird is that all of their albums got pretty good reviews, like noticeably high reviews from multiple outlets, yet I've never seen anyone ever talk about them. I've never seen their name anywhere. As far as I know, I'm the only person that's ever heard of them. But they have another song off this album, and called Rudy on the Corner, and that's slower and more mellow, kind of like your typical psychedelic or stoner rock. But this entire album is just fantastic, and that album is it's called The Cranial Plan, song and the title. So, wonderful band. If you're really into, what was that other band? The Sizzlax, if you've ever heard of them. They're kind of similar to that. And I don't really listen to enough psychedelic rock. It's a genre that I really like, but it's not one that I'm well versed in. So anything that's in this kind of feel, I really like to find. I just don't get to find it very much, unfortunately. Moving on, the next song. This is another song that I really, really like. It's from quite an accomplished man named Damien Anton Ojeda, otherwise known as Sadness. And he's accomplished. He works super, super hard. He started in 2014, so 8 years? And he's already put out 40 either full-length albums, demos, splits, EPs, something. He's put out at least 40 records. They're not records. I don't think he does physical releases, but you know what I mean. Just in 2015, he had 5 full-length albums. 2016, he had 3, a whole bunch of demos and splits, compilations. And now, they're not all good. Several of these are sitting at 42 out of 100, 23 out of 100, 57 out of 100. So they're not all good. But I think it's the fact that he's just doing this as much as possible and just pouring his absolute heart and soul into his music. That's at least commendable, I would think. And it's at least noticeable. And then, as musicians do, you start getting better later on. And it's around 2018 that he started getting noticed more. And then this song is off of generally what I think is the album that really kind of started getting him some momentum. Circle of Veins. And this is a song, I don't remember how I found out about this guy. I think it was off of a Black Gaze general tier list. So here's Sadness with Eyes of Prima. Welcome back to Prism Radio. That last song was Our Fortress is Burning Part 1 by Agalic. Sad to say that they have disbanded. They disbanded a while ago, actually, now. That was 2016, so 6 years ago. They've been broken up, which sucks. The album that this is off of, Ashes Against the Grain, is probably one of the best and most interesting. It is a metal album. That song's not a metal song, as you can tell, but the whole thing is a metal album. But they're kind of an interesting story, because their first two albums were much more acoustic, more of like a folk acoustic metal blend, which ended mostly in Ashes Against the Grain, where they started experimenting more with ambience and electronic. And then the two albums after that, Marrow of the Spirit and The Serpent in the Sphere, were just kind of more dark metal in general. But Ashes Against the Grain and the album before that, The Mantle, are both incredible records. And if you're into more folk metal ambience kind of stuff in your rock, definitely check them out. One of the best out there if you're into that folk metal area. But yeah, unfortunately they broke up, and I don't really remember why they ended up splitting up. I think, if I'm correct, all the other band members except for the vocalist left, and then he just obviously can't carry the band by himself, and I don't think he could get anyone to fill the spots, so I think he just kind of let the whole thing dissolve. Unfortunately, because they were just great. And they're from the town or the city that I used to live in as a child, Portland, Oregon. So a little bit of a sentimental value there, I guess. Next up, there's a huge chunk of people that are gonna know this artist, just because I'm pretty sure the only reason this artist is as popular as they are is because YouTube randomly just pushed him onto everyone's recommended list. Because it was on mine, and then I was like, alright, yeah, sure, I'll listen to that song. And then it was pretty good drum and bass. And then more people started talking about him, and he just got really big. So I think it's one of those stories where the YouTube algorithm basically built someone's career. At least that's how it looked on my end, because after that I started seeing him all over the place. Which isn't a problem, because I like it. But he has some interesting music. I like his use of samplings. If you know the album I'm talking about, his use of samplings is really good. And I remember he was selling some tapes, like cassette tapes of his music. And I was like, oh, cool. I would buy one of those. I don't have a cassette player, but it'd be cool to have. And it went up for sale, and before I could even check out, they were already completely sold. So, good on him. I'm impressed, and I'm very happy that they're able to make something of their career. So here is Lexapro Delirium by Sewer Slut. Stand By Your Side by Woodland Spirit. Funnily enough, I just discovered this band today. And the reason I found out about them is because I learned that they did an entire cover album of Anathema songs. And if you've been listening to my show at all, then you've already picked up that Anathema is my favorite band. So any sort of cover album of theirs, I would be interested in. And they're really good. This is their original stuff. This is more of their just regular kind of country rock, folk rock kind of thing that they do. And that's really good. Their Anathema stuff's really good. The woman who does the clean vocals for Anathema, Lee Douglas, I don't believe is doing anything solo right now ever since Anathema broke up. The other members have kind of started their own projects, but I don't know if Lee Douglas is doing anything, which breaks my heart because I love her vocals. But the woman in Woodland Spirit covers them very, very well. She has a bit of an accent, so I think they are from like the southern United States, either that or Europe. But you can hear her accent come through when she's singing, which is really interesting because I'm used to Lee Douglas's English accent. So to hear her music done in a different accent, because like I know what I'm expecting to hear when I hear the song. So when it's not exactly that, I'm just like, oh, that's new. That's interesting. So Woodland Spirit, yeah, check them out. They don't have like any views on Spotify. Like usually if they have a couple hundred views, Spotify will say, oh, this song has under 1,000 views. And most of their songs just have nothing, which I don't know if that means they have like under 100 views or if they have 0 views. But you should go check them out because their Anathema covers are great. Their original stuff's really good too. And I think they only have like 25 monthly listeners, which I have 4 subscribers, so I don't know who I'm talking to. But should you hear them or hear this, go check them out. I don't know. I must be on a folk thing, like a folk kick tonight, because this is going to be like the 3rd folk-ish song. This is just pure folk, but next to a Gallic and Woodland Spirit, which are both folk rock-ish, this is just straight up folk. It's Icelandic neo-folk by a very interesting, I think they're a German group, called Heilung. And the song name is Traust, and it's a reciting of a Norse text. I don't remember the title of it, but it's a reciting of a Norse poem. And their live shows are really, really cool. They go all out on like costumes and lighting and smoke effects, and they have really nice vocals. Really incredible vocal work. I would like to see them in concert at some point. I probably won't. I don't know if they even tour America. But they go really all in on doing like the old European folk stuff. Really, really interesting band. Heilung, it's Heilung. It's German for healing. It's a very, very interesting band. So, Heilung with Traust.
Gilded leaves have from once upon a time to darkest hour, ember to inferno, the ending stronger. I burned myself for a page of rhyme. Only the broken hearts make it beautiful, and one has gotta be mine.
Sonata Arctica. Only the Broken Hearts Make You Beautiful. Really good power metal record, and power metal is probably one of my least listened to genres. But I do like a lot of it. A lot of it just gets too weird for me. I'm kind of a nerd, I'm kind of an idiot, but I have limits to how like LARPy I can get. So power metal that is like really greased up 80s action stars in leather thongs holding swords, it's kind of my limit for power metal. Sorry, Man of War fans. But I do like a lot of it. Like, I like some Dragon Force, even though I know a lot of power metal fans hate Dragon Force. But I do like some Dragon Force. I like Sonata Arctica. I like Rhapsody of Fire. I like more of like the orchestral kind of like epic orchestral symphony stuff. But I do like Sonata Arctica too. This album's really good. Stones Grow Her Name. Power metal is such a divisive genre, I feel, because some of it's like really, really goofy, like the whole Dungeons and Dragons side of power metal. But then there's actual good power metal. Well, okay, I say actually good power metal. You can like whatever you want. The power metal I like Rhapsody of Fire with more, what's the song? The Wizard's Last Rhyme, where it's more kind of epic. I don't know what other word to use other than just kind of like epic and powerful and like you're going on a grand journey. I don't know if Winter Sun counts. Does Winter Sun count as power metal? But that's the kind of stuff I like. I know a lot of people love Sabaton, and I have nothing against Sabaton. I think they're a good band. But I think the fan base is just a little bit too weird for me to enjoy them fully, because that gets really LARPy. It's like, yes, your Airsoft STG-44 is really cool, bro. Anyways, next we got another song I really, really love, and I love it not for the metal part, but I really like the acoustics in the song. And it's funny that a lot of these post-black metal bands are delving more into like emotional acoustic stuff, which I love, frankly. And there's not much else to say about it, because the funny thing about this song is like the vocals and the metal stuff is all, that's fine, but that's not what I listened to the song for. I specifically listened to the song for the acoustic stuff. So this is Soul by the band name is Wilderness, but he uses two V's for a W, so it's Wilderness. So Soul by Wilderness. Prism Radio. Welcome back. That last song, another song I really, really love. Song for the Morning Star by R. Carlos Nakai from the Canyon trilogy. Man's 75 years old now. He was born in 1946. And he's been doing music since 1982. So 30 years. Right? No. Oh, Lord, it's 40 years, isn't it? I'm not even that old. 40 years he's been doing music. And he's one of my favorite Native American flutists. I don't know if it's technically New Age music. That's what it's listed as. I wouldn't call, like, several hundred-year-old Native American tradition New Age. So I don't think I'm going to call it that. But I don't know what else to... Isn't it just Native American flute music? Because that's what it is. This isn't my specialty, if you can't tell. Anyways, he's great. The entire Canyon trilogy is fantastic. One of my favorite albums to just chill out to. A lot of the chill music I listen to is electronic, like Taiko. Taiko, or of course Orange Coffee, like you're listening to right now. But this is the other side of that. Just really, really mellow, meditative flute music, and it's so soulful. It's just something that you like. Not everyone can recreate this. You have to have a very specific skill set, and I think a lot of that comes from your heritage. Like, I don't think anyone can just pick up a Native American flute and just start going to town on it. Even if you're trained in flute music, I think it's something that you have to be brought up in, and I think there's a specific amount of blood tie to that to really be able to do it well. And that's probably, I'm sure that's not the case for everyone. I'm sure that there are people that can do it really well too that aren't Native American, but I think that there is music that comes more naturally to certain people when you've grown up in that culture and you've been doing it your whole life. But he's great, and he's been, like, you know, hopefully we'll get another 40 years out of him. So we are going to be wrapping up. We're going to be finishing off with Anathema, as always. And one of my favorite songs by them. So I want to thank you very much again for tuning in. Your viewership means everything to me. Thank you very much. I'm going to end with The Lost Song Part 2 by Anathema. Have a good night, and God bless.
ever know. And one day you feel me, a whisper